ruling SLPP and that of the main opposition to meet him at the speaker's conference room. So, this Sawyer, you've been following parliamentary the procedures. More so, this come up when we have something that is very, very strong on the other paper, something which the speaker foresees. That will bring about a lot of rancor in the house. So he calls the leadership from both sides of the aisle to go to his conference room. Point. And it was so they are going to banter strongly against each other. Once they get to the conference room, the atmosphere change. So we are wondering what will come out of this. I'm also wondering as to what will come out of that room. But the fact remains from the public and from the public side, I believe this is something they will consider unprecedented. It's something they will consider strange, just like myself. The fact is, I've not been in parliament for quite a while. And but again, as I mentioned, this is how parliament has been designed. There is always room for consultation and what have you. The bill entitled the Constitutional Amendment Bill of 2025 is one that is it touches on the hearts and minds of the ordinary man. The fact is, this is one of the many ways through which the people who have their elected representatives to represent them, at the chamber of parliament, to represent them, the welfare of every other side. I said the other day, election
And it was so serious that the opposition had to leave parliament.
Yeah, sure.
And
They left parliament. Unless they boycotted parliament, but they boycotted parliament at their own. It was at their own detriment, because we also what happened. They boycotted the parliament, but nonetheless, the house went on. The house went on with the business, and unanimously approved by the house, and he's now the chairman of the Electoral Commission for Sahel.
The call of the speaker speaks to really serious issues in the house. Like you said, all of us are restricted behind closed doors, and then even MPs are not allowed, not just any kind of MPs are allowed into that room. You see, it's just the speaker, clerk, and then the 5 MPs who are in the leadership, and then the other 5 MPs who are in the opposition leadership. Now, what speculators are hoping to see out of this situation, right? The speaker will engage in dialogue. Like you said, I've been here for a while. Such kind of things occur in central on them. And try to bring down the fact that let's get in the house again, something like let's get into the house and let's just become. They will do the argument in there, they will crisscross in there, they will show who agree, they will shout and this and that there. But the speaker aims to get them to a position where the house is around. This is one thing that has been spotted many times under this speaker. Not so much, but this people is trying to come out in land for the house. But I think one, I'm just thinking it doesn't stop parliamentarians, which is why many people are leaving the fact that it's also constituting political interest. I mean, the leadership of these various parties are looking also to see what their members will be doing. So today, they are not only going to listen to the speaker, but their ears are one ear with the speaker and another ear with their leadership, who is looking at what mind you, as a political scene, it's always been an instance where the leadership will tell them what to come and stand for the well of parliament. That is what it is.
I think that was clearly demonstrated during the interview I had with Ambassador Usman Furian Sani, chairman for the main opposition of People's Congress Party. That was what he said. I asked him as to what the party's position. If the APC party still holds what the party with regards to the current process, and it says what he said was that the leadership's position will be translated through their leadership in parliament. They've made their position, and that position will be, of course, will
you know that the MPs are the ones who speak first in governance. That's just the leadership. So anything they want to communicate, they communicate it to the parliamentarians.
Absolutely,
yes,
absolutely.
Who are in governance, and they push forward. So
I think so. That's the problem. That's one of the problems that I believe the public seem not happy with. The fact is, members of parliament, they are elected by the people. Mind you, they do not constitute the number to get their members elected. These members in this house are elected by they are elected by the people, the ordinary Sahelian, who goes up and down, with his own business. But again, when it comes to having their positions heard in the house or whatsoever the case might be, their position is always the position of their party. I think the question has been that syncs with the aspirations of the public? I think that's a question the public has asked most times, because you see a demonstration of same on a daily basis, Tony Sawyer.
Yes, you constantly see this, like you said, all the time. See, which is why those who are proposing for the government or let's say the founders of democracy, said
I think Abraham Lincoln is Abraham Lincoln.
yes, government should be
Is known to set same government of the people, government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Surely, see, that is what many people are rather pushing political ideologies than that of the people. And you see, the people are those who elected these MPs, and there are like 149 representing 8 million people. It should be a thing of the reflection of the people. The other day I was interviewing people at PZ, and they said they are not mostly bring forth the ideology of the people.
Many of the views that if Parliament got it right, things will be straightened inside. And I also do believe. Mind you, many times we tend to misunderstand the role of the roles and responsibilities of members of parliament. They have their core function, they have their core mandate, one of which is not just to make laws. Oversight seems extremely important among their responsibilities.
Quite.
Very important, their oversight function. Because Parliament has enormous powers. They have enormous powers. They can sanction whosoever to come to this place to answer questions. And if they are displeased, required penalties will be met and what have you. But again, as we speak, the chamber seems empty. Many of the seats are now empty as a result of the call that was made by the most powerful man in the house.
Yes, he's the law himself.
He's the law. Exactly.
He's the law himself.
Exactly, he's the law. Exactly, he's the law. So many of the seats are empty. You see, the front seats represent, that of the leadership of the house from both from the ruling side of this party. Mind you, the right-hand side of the speaker is where the members from the ruling bench, they do sit, and the left-hand side is where members from the main opposition do sit. And I think this end is reserved. The back is reserved for the parliament chiefs, members of parliament. They are independent as per what's provided for. They should be independent, and they should be here to monitor and see what's happening. They have the responsibility to ensure their voices are heard. But the fact is, they're also representing their people from the various chiefdoms. I tell people that the provincial area forms a majority of the population of Zaire. And where they're coming from, most of those localities are being governed by them. They also have enormous powers. And that's more the reason why their votes are extremely essential into this engagement. The fact is, they must be cajoled, and whatsoever eye of the house does win their votes, automatically, I believe, it's a go for that eye of the house.
Yes, again, Samuel, let me bring people up to date about what's going on in Parliament this morning. I and my colleague Samuel Graham. Parliament this morning giving live updates on what's going on regarding the constitutional amendments for 35 years now. The law has been standing without any alteration, but according to section 108 subsection 3 of the 1991 constitution, the House comes back again today to look at what's going on in it. Okay, and so before the House today is this bill, and the bill seeks to do some electoral reforms that have to do with change of name for the electoral body, the CSL, the change of name and other crucial provision for the PPRC what will be the preferred electoral system. There's an argument between first past the post and that of the proportional representation system.
But these provisions, the first past the post and that of the PR system, they are both provided for in the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6 of 1991. But again, it is very important that my uncle in Koribondo understands what's happening here this morning. So my producer will be very angry with me, but nonetheless, producer, please pardon my mistake with a good, no, you speak Creole, just so that the ordinary man understand. But we'll come back to English, taking into cognizance what is happening here this morning. It is provided for that what's happening here this morning is done in English, and so for that reason, that's more the reason why the live coverage here this morning is done in English. But nonetheless, for we family already watch Winner YV television, listen to Winner Radio 101.7 FM, and those who follow we online, we currently in a parliament wherein they follow through on the constitutional amendments bill. We're currently in a parliament bill for 2025 within a parliament. This bill now one way to look at electoral reforms as a result of what's be happen after the 2023 election, where the country tripartite gets the main opposition, the ruling party, and that of international moral guarantors, when they discuss how for make Salone electoral process get fairness and what have you, one way will fit the best interest of Sierra Leone. So one of the things that have been come up now for then reform some key areas that we get for do with conducting elections, electing of representatives, we for serve as EDNA, CCSL, political party registration, and what have you. And now members of parliament and for camp parliament, is it through a PR system? The most talks about PR system, or is it through the first past the post system and what have you? And even for presidential elections and council election, how them for elect them into various positions. Mind you, 2023, the country be utilized the PR system for members of parliament and similarly so for councillors, where the current courts of councillors and members of parliament, these are products of the PR system. Wherein for the presidential election, the contention at this moment now whether the government, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, where now the legal person for government, they don't propose to parliament through the bill where you don't table. Don't read the bill for the second time. The bill gets several stages where they go through. First off, there should be an idea where member of parliament can either push them or it come off from that's it. When member of parliament push them, private member motion. When a government push them, it's different from it's been a private member motion. Now this now government push them, so that's more the reason why it comes through the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Now you can't table them. When you table them, you get for go through first reading, you go through second reading, and after second reading, then you push on a committee stage. Now committee stage it is so now. After in second reading, it's the committee stage. What's it called the first reading and second reading? The first reading are the first way the Attorney General and Minister of Justice they read in a parliament. Where they read them, they read the bill in the entirety of the bill as to the lot of clauses or provisions them, the wordings of the bill, waiting the bill can for do, the problem they can for address and what have you. But a few pandits in the way seem very contentious where 9 then are the public domain, so this is one of which now the PR system. Government they propose say the PR system 9 them for use back for continue with 9 salon for use inside 2028 election. The opposition they say they're not for use the PR system because the PR system for let they use them it gets bent with figure let they use them. One of which if the government system they not get beaucoup time for do boundary delimitation. That are one of the things then we can come up with and can decide for do a PR system. And they say no, the term not there again because of this and this term too short for we. So for that reason, make we for use the PR. I think it's just one of them. Yes. Another one, so now before you come in, the Attorney General propose say because of the provision inside the Justice Edmond Kawan constitutional review. Mind you, this is a process we don't start from way back in
About
time.
20 years.
About 20 years ago. But not 20, I think 22 years or so, but just over 20
over
years.
20 years.
Yeah, approximate it.
Yes, sir.
And get it correct. So it don't start from way back that time there. And it's Kuroma come, former President Anisbai Kuroma in 10 years old, been tried for get this thing reviewed, and not being able to happen. Now, President Julius Maada Bio take up on himself as okay, let me get this process review, but let me start off with the issues we get for do with electoral reforms. Tony keep
Yes.
coming.
So me just want to take fam with them about how the procedure can FIBA like in a parliament. As my colleague been done, they say it can come first, then can come with a first reading, and then like he say, the minister can talk about within the bill they look forward for achieve. Tell them X and Y and Z now so we want to do. And then so what thing be happened last week. I mean, the second reading. The second reading, now outside the members of parliament them, where then can say they don't go consult to them, people them, and then come to people them now before before the camera, and then they talk, say, well, we believe say na so, like then they debate, they look at the advantage and the disadvantage of certain clause them inside the bill. When they don't look out on them, then come down on a committee stage. And so the committee stage now with this, so inside then we go for pass the bill and then watch then we'll go for look the bill one by one, then take one by one, take then clause 1, then take clause 2, clause 3, so to the last clause, and then dot the I's and then cross the T's and then do some of them thing. But waiting with the suspect say go go for happen here today, and outside we did now that it's possible say then go go for vote, because like my colleague been say just now, you get the ruling bench where they say that now the government bench, the one way then they rule right now, then go get for, then they push say the ones for them will get 50% plus 1 as the kind of threshold for presidential election. And the opposition bench they say no, we don't think so we'll go down that road today. We need to maintain with 55% we will get. And then also then they get fed around, well not fed as in send and but with words. Then they say no, well we want the PR system. Now they say no, we don't forget the PR system. So what thing happen, they go for vote. The opposition where they counter the proposals, we go for raise a motion, say, Mr. Speaker, when they raise a motion, say this house for vote. For vote, say, well, we will let the PR system stand or let it not stand. We'll let the 55% stand or let this 55%, 50%, sorry, plus 1 stand or not stand. So what we see, say, we've been taking like 2 hours for lady sitting start.
Because the sitting for being start at 10,
yes,
but not start till past 12 o'clock. We've been just waiting on the speaker, but a lot of consultation will happen behind the scene.
Yes.
You know.
And consultations upon consultation. So after the speaker come in again, after they don't read the votes and proceedings, when are the documents we can talk about waiting
happened last sitting.
And so after that, the speaker been there for any announcement announcing we like for meet with the leaders them. So what will be the try for talk also now say what thing can get to happen inside that kind of consultation there, whether it's unusual or whether unusual. Well, nothing we can be na the well of parliament. If the speaker sense say this kind of matter what we talk about is very crucial and it will carry a lot of up and down, they can call the leadership or let them go now in conference room and at then now they can go talk, and then when they come back, we can see some possible change.
I see this one more like fumble talk.
Yes.
See more like a fumble talk. This is a fumble talk where the speaker don't call the leadership from both the SLPP and that of the APC for let them meet and discuss on some relevant issues. We're not able to preempt waiting and discuss it because this is not for just the leadership, not for even the generality of members of parliament, not just for those where they serve in a leadership position within them party. Then they invite, let meet with them in chamber, let them get an indoor meeting wherein they will discuss important things that we get for do with today's session. But also another issue is very controversial at the moment. Now one we get for do with that special select committee. Now this special select committee very important because one of the areas the way they want reform now how then they appoint the chairman for the electoral commission for Salone. Mind you, even the name for the electoral commission for Salone now been National Electoral Commission, but that name don't change as per the ECSL, as per that ECSL Act. But when that name don't change, that old name now is still there in the Constitution. So now, as per that, because the constitution are the gunum of the land. But one question I be asked the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, the other day, the other day on air, and that how then they change a law? We're still then at the gunum of the land. When are the law, now the umbrella law for every other law, now the ruling law, now the law way pass every other law. How you they change the law with an act? That law don't come into effect, but it differ from waiting in at the gunum. How then did it happen? Because whatsoever law we're not in tandem with the law and the constitution, it is considered ultra virus from the start. You know, not a law from the beginning first. Because for the mere fact this law say this, me that I'm understanding. But he said that a smart point to raise because I've been asking with regards the provision we get for do with trials as to the jury system. Because the jury is still provided for in the Constitution of Sierra Leone. He says, you know, in the commence matter at the High Court, it could be by a judge alone or a judge and a jury. It is still there. It's still provided for.
Interestingly, we've not seen that. We've not seen that come up even in this amendment.
So that, but again, this amendment are one way get for the election reforms. So that's more the reason why even when I've been interviewed, the deputy commissioner, the electoral commission for Sierra Leone mentioned say one panditino one for C. Now for it mentioned section 13 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone. We talk about the roles and responsibilities of like members of parliament, of people in politics generally. Yes. But I've been for drawing attention to section 14 where it talks say all of what's inside chapter 2 of the constitution not justiciable. That means you need to carry it government a court way not one for you. They said that one part in the section and they were really extremely not relevant at all in that constitution because you just tell you say then they make government lazy. Government not provide for me medical service, not provide for me food, not give me electricity. Imagine you get to up now a meter, lights no day. You know they take government a court for that. I understand now issue of floodgates. Yes, everybody go on for take government a court.
That argument the government go on for would say you go open the floodgates.
Open the floodgates for everybody. Yeah, problem. But again, that is something that needs to be looked into. We understand say yes, as a result of the country economy and what have you, the country is not rich. You know, that we understand. But I think there is so much for be done in terms of a review of the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone.
Okay. And again, another thing we for put to family saying I've been seen we come with some talk inside the last term, like you've been mentioned, the search and nomination committee. So this proposal of the amendment, they say then they propose for as the unity agreement talk say they forget search and nomination committee.
Yeah.
Beside the president,
I think I begin to talk about time.
Yes. Yes, beside the president will go for be when I know why is the word subjected, we will go for be subjected to three different people. We will go for choose one as the electoral commissioner. You know, then we'll get this committee, we will get a lot of people who they would on screen, and we then count them to the president. That committee they will choose 3 people. Out of them 3 people the president will go for choose one of them 3 people and they will serve as the electoral commissioner. And that committee they will be made up of the All People's Congress, the opposition party, the main government, and all other party them and civil society and media and lawyers and all that kind of thing. But even though that's not the proposal, not the bill, some MP then they talk say, well, we really need this, or maybe we just need for defined consultation and all of that. So I've been just want for bringing people them.
Yeah, because I think the arguments are that it still not make that process independent. And that's the arguments are from so many people, including civil society activists who believe say not independent governments still get hand for appointments. Let's say peradventure then count 3 to governments rejected all 3. Waiting will be the next thing. Because if you don't select the person, now government says get the power for approval, now get for choosing. So it automatically tells you that the government still get, and that's not the submission of many civil society activists who I don't listen to. Even some get another opinion and view. So this morning I was listening to one on a YV television why is driving to why is the drive come for work this morning. I listened to his submission. That's my view. But again, many people also get different views to the PR system. You know, the PR system, by the looks of things, from 2023, we don't get many members of parliament who don't die. Before this term, they get for do by-election. When a member of parliament die, they get for do by-election we can get for cost money. Some ten in the Kuskas, the notorious 110. I think 110 constituency 110. We in our one panel constituency, then the way been gets a lot of Kuskas around Godrich, wherein because of a by-election, we a member of parliament, maybe win. But from 2023 to date, you get member of parliament who don't die. The second person at the list can automatically come up and secure that seat and what have you. But again, this amendment bill also make provision for women in politics. It make provision for citizenship. It make provision for independent candidates for contest presidential election. Although a lot of contention there because the APC from the argument say many people can decide for call themselves independent candidates. Yeah. These are candidates that work in London are either the SLPP, or the APC, C4C, or NGC. But because sometimes one is symbol in Ogia, they decide for going independent. And in that regards, they can turn out that they can turn bonus vote for the party will come out. Automatically, that people get support, that person getting supporter, they can just wave away supporters them and go in and that carry them what have you. So the contention them they raise the APC party say, it's not bad for getting independent candidates. If there is any way that clause they did at the constitutional amendment, if for be possible, you never show up na any party. If for be possible, you not ever show up na any party for 5 years or what have you. Now that have been the last way they made a submission. Whereas even members of parliament from I think Madam Songa, Honorable Songa, been they say he wants for ways for let them give rights to people where they are abroad for come and participate in politics. Because for some of them, get to see him, because he mentions him in the London, for some of them, get to see him, it's difficult for them. Not because for get greener pasture. I mean, what do they say? For let you go better yourself and your family.
Get you into more.
Get you into more. Say, you send back home and develop yourself. They say that reason makes some of them go overseas. And, many members of parliament don't lend them views to whatsoever for happen. But at that point, I think some of them get points. Because mind you, Salon how the economy there at the moment. If you not so for remittance where they come abroad, some people if you not so then get people then get some people if you not so then get family abroad, it's difficult for them to able to survive. Because now that people are abroad and they send for the money. How possible they send it they develop na salon they say for contest an election? Yes, there should be it will be tightened, but I think they for allow them to some extent. My personal view.
Yes. So I think to say like you correct in that, then the need for be given this because also a lot of people then they get a thought say how you go able for control that kind of thing there. Like we get first of all the 8 million people them with elections them so full of challenge, and then now you can make the add other people there online looking at how the fraud system they now the online space and all of that kind of thing like that one day. So how we go able for control that and make sure say what will they fight against when elections disagreement and all of them things and they not repeating self again and this kind of particular. Now, I'm going to forward more again for the woman business as you been the top position. This bill they try for seek for the protection of women more and more and more. You see, women then they make up 60% or above of the population of Sierra Leone. But for a very long term, because of the kind of structure, the climate where the country been under, women have not been the can before so much. So you find out that this is the first parliament we get explicitly 30% representation. But other parliaments they've always done the get less. You can see plenty man them and but one them crucial because their voice matter in development. So we see also this parliament they passed the GW Act will be make not only 30% in governance, but even in other places them they make a lot of protection and covers them for women them. And then again, we, like you pointed out earlier, there was one time where Honorable Veronica they leave the house and the leadership be exceptional. That time they the speaker not be there, the deputy speaker not be there, and so them being choose them for prevail over the house that decide over the house at that particular time day. And so it been do very much well. I think to say an item for the woman they get more space at the political atmosphere, and that will only happen if parliaments through this in power come and make more laws them in line with that kind of particular thing.
I think the speaker and parliament don't they get a lot of commendation from even in colleague members of parliament them from the opposition. I remember during the last sitting, we see in company the commend them say they don't try forget the house to order. I remember listening Honorable Aaron Koroma where they praised the speaker as to interpretation of the provisions of the constitution. the more the reason we make many people they believe say many people want for things say. I think the leadership of parliament for be somebody we always get legal background for understand what the laws then say and what have you because that's the only way we interpret the constitution adequately and ensure say the right things are done. But again, he's a very young person and what have you. But nonetheless, it gets a lot of commendation from the main opposition APC as a result of the independent nature way don't they run the house in terms of crucial, activities and events the way they happen within the well of parliament. But nonetheless, you mentioned women female participation at parliament, and we see then really don't they take up the lead in terms of getting their voice and views heard. Last week we see two controversial views from female members of parliament, Honorable Songa and that of Honorable Catherine and even Madam Aminata, Honorable Aminata from I think from Potoko district, where making views heard with regards to imposition on on a lot of clauses within inside this constitutional amendment bill. But nonetheless, we still there in a parliament where we get a lot of members from the leadership of the various political divides, the APC and that of the SLPP. Sadly, though, this parliament gets people from C4C, NGC, and what have you. I think this is also as a result of the threshold of the PR system. It was Bangura. That now one fit. That now one fit. That now one fit.
Or independent
Candidate. And now,
again, now almost 30 minutes the council, the speaker will stand down the house, and we don't see any semblance. We see them go kind side Jishno because as the term don't they go. Sometimes then the speaker can stand down for 10 minutes and it can go 30 minutes. So you wonder now if you stand down for 30 minutes, how much minutes and they go for before they come. But like you say, the house jump packed and it full with a lot of people. So man don't go since the speaker give a breakdown. But this house gets a lot of people from the opposition, gets a lot of people from the ruling party, SLPP, the chairman themselves been there around and then still there around.
Yeah, absolutely. The house look empty as we speak. We get a lot of people, well wishers, people we coming from various political parties and what have you. I see Dr. Ibrahim Bangura from the main opposition APC, seem one of their flag bearer aspirants, making waves over time. And similarly, so we get people from the ruling Silent People's Party. I just see a very fine gentleman, a young man. He's a lawyer. I'm Commander. Commander, how are you? I see. We get a very
On the top. But however, because of the purport of the legal scripture when at the parliament, we see say they give the rights to parliament for come and make a change and for alter the constitution. So this one they come at a time will be to say elections don't they pose many challenge for saloon. So leaders them thought and feel say after 35 years, you go find make we come back and look at how we address thing that we can go with up and down for election business. Like again for bring updates to the people this amendment therefore do mainly with elections business. But before they come to this one, for do it elections business. The proposal before now been get a lot of things we for do it human rights, a lot of things that we for do it development. But I see the now I'm down to only elections. That's not because of some arguments where some of the leaders and they put on say that because elections they're very close and they want to get it right. You know, we can get elections laws few months or few weeks to elections. So then we want to get them right before we dey reach to elections. So 35 years down the line, then come back again for see how then can watch this constitution and how then can bring this constitution for
we still get senior stakeholders we don't they make them way now the House of Parliament come and monitor independently and give them independent opinions as to what's happening. At some point in time, I did inform you, say we also see Abdul Fatoma from Chad. Siam at the back is one person way I remember at some point in time, don't they get Parliament on their toes and get other relevant institutions in this country, relevant institutions where for push the democracy of this country go forward, don't get them and so on issues for doing development society. Abu Fatuma, it's a pleasure having you. Good morning, good afternoon.
Thank you, thank you. I'm pleased to be here.
You've been monitoring the process so far,
Yeah.
and I know Chadi they've also had their position paper, with regards this current constitutional amendment bill that is being reviewed by Parliament. But what's your take generally so far with regards to what you've seen on on last Thursday and this morning in Parliament?
Currently, we observed the process the other day and last week. And this week, we are also here to observe. We want to see what is unfolding here. And we have already made our position clear in our policy brief, the first and the second one. And so we want to allow the conscience of the members of parliament to serve the people of this country. What is good for this country is what the people of this country want from their representative in parliament.
Will you wish to echo those positions from Chadi? More so when over time Chadi seems to have been dictating the pace of things with regards issues having to do with the voice of the ordinary man.
And the opinion of the people is very clear, and the people want a system that will work for them. They want electoral system that will work for them. And so it's up to Parliament to listen to that voice of the people. And then the people of this country want to see where democracy works for all, not for few, and where we'll be able to hold our local leaders accountable, either members of parliament or councillors, and fairness in how do one qualify to be an independent measure the amount of cash that he or she needs to have, and looking at how do you put on threshold. Coming with proportional representation is good, but what is the guarantee? What is the assurance of the threshold that actually will bring inclusivity on board? So the people may want to know all of these critical issues, and we are concerned about that, and that's the reason why we are observing.
In your view, is this process people centered?
It's not based on the people. Most people have less clue. I've engaged members of parliament, the PR or the first past the poll that they want to vote in favor of. If they have knowledge about it, they say no. I talked to few MP. So even the people who will be voting, most of them, if not all, have less a clue about what they're voting for. And that's worried for our democracy. We want a democracy that the people who we sent to represent us, either at local council or at parliament, know clear what we want as people.
The Special Select Committee seemed to have had a lot of controversies. Fatoma, what do you think is best in terms of that provision? as it is in the bill.
Um,
Civil society activists who are also very essential in the development and progress of Sierra Leone. Good afternoon, Solomon Sunday. It's a pleasure having you. Good afternoon.
Thanks for having me. Samuel.
Solomon, you've been following the process thus far. We're here last Thursday. We are in the second reading of this all-important bill was done. It was debated on by members of parliament, and now it has been referred to committee stage. But nonetheless, the speaker stood down the house and requested on the leadership from both eye of the
The SAPP. So if they're now telling us because we're expecting for the second reading to be the entire constitution. But what we are saying is segmented parts. So if they are saying because of best practice, you and I know you're a legal luminary, you cannot amend constitution going towards election within the 4 months. So that's what they are doing. But the big elephant is in the room is the PR system, for which I will not keep my feeling. I am the proponent for the PR system. The reason being, we have been too long in this first past the poll. Not that it's bad. But what have we gained? What is the benefits? It's just violence, and also the white people from the past administration of former President Kuruma. They injected it. So, and governance is continuity. So, if we are now seeing the reverse where this current administration is implementing it, because governance is continuity. That's what we are saying.
We know, Sir, is we know the world is a global village. And Sierra Leone is part of that. Is part of that village. But Solomon Sondu, the Attorney General and of Justice also proposing for, say, people who've been found one of criminal offenses and what have you. Um, no suspense, we are in those who are,
Discontinue.
who going through trial will be, the trial will be discontinued, and will be allowed the opportunity to participate. In politics. Is it good for Sierra Leone as a country? Most at this particular moment.
But it is not new. We saw it in 2003 general elections, where Dr. Samura Kamara was standing for a trial
On what?
on the Chancellor case. But because we are heading towards 2023 election, they discontinue the case. It's not new. So for me, if it's now in the constitution that this is what we should be doing, we saw it.
But where do you think that will land Sierra Leone as a country?
But let's go back to America.
Say someone is going through trial for rape, for murder, say for treason and what have you. Here we are monitoring twists and turns within the House of Parliament as we speak. The seats of the leadership from both the SLPP and that of the APC. This seat are empty as the request that was made by the Speaker of Parliament, the number one man in the House of Parliament. He requested that the leadership from both the SLPP and that of the APC, they meet him in their committee room to ensure that they have an in-door conversation or in-camera conversation. But many representatives are here. I mean, many senior representatives from across various government ministries, departments, and agencies are here. At the back end, you'll see the ECSL head, the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone head is at the end, Edmond Alpha, and similarly so, Gayama is also there, who is he was one of the representatives that were there to look into a lot of reforms that were put in place to ensure that the country reach this particular position where it is at this moment. But I'm here together with my team. I see my team, Samuel Tony Sawyer, who is our parliamentary correspondent. He's been doing extremely well. He's been fantastic in bringing us happenings in parliament. And also Aliu Bangura, who is a cameraman. Aliu Bangura is behind the camera and he's helping with what's happening here this morning. Similarly, so Bontin and others. Bontin is at the office, but he's working at the office. He's working at the office, but it seems he's with us here this afternoon. Want to say thank you so very much to them for having. Helped the team to ensure we bring the public life fits as to what's happening with the with regards to the representatives that are here this afternoon. Samuel Tony Sawyer.
So too, I was around that. I was engaging the guests.
Performing the role of a producer.
That's amazing. Quite amazing. Well, a lot is happening in the world. Like you have interviewed some of the leadership of the APC and that of the SLPP. A lot is going on in the world this morning. Like you see, people are beginning to coming back into the world. As it has already elapsed the 30 minutes that the speaker gave, that tells you how intense the deliberation will have been in the room. I also want to talk. So, one of the older staff in Parliament, Park King, is a consultant, and then he advises the speaker and some other leaders most times on constitutional matter.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can interview him.
Right.
You can take the lead.
Okay. Good morning. Okay. Good morning and welcome to AY. Yes. Of the, the audit, the removal of the Auditor General. The Speaker made a ruling that is based the members present and voting in Parliament. In the word that for you guys in. So it depends on what have been received. So the first speaker, they're really applying the clauses in the constitution. They have not been going out of the constitution. It just minor changes, but the speakers that I've worked with, they have not been going out of the voting pattern of the constitution. Thank you. It's been a fine time talking to you. Thank you for talking to AYV. Well, again, that was King, one of the oldest in parliament. He has been around, like he said, for four parliament.
Things. What do you think your party should settle for in those regards?
The most important of all these amendments is the electoral system that the country should adopt. And we are of the view that the people of this country want the first past the post system, and that is what we will insist on.
But many of the view that the PR has, it's advantages, because it is very clear that since the 2023 elections, we've had a lot of MPs that have passed away, but nonetheless, no by-election. It seems quiet. The country is not losing funds and what have you. And name.
Honorable Alusain Alukonte, former member of Parliament of Constituency 125.
Honorable Alukonte, how this place is not strange to you. I know you've been here before this time, and this is a place that you've interfaced with, and you know how sessions are conducted here. But I believe you were a product of the the first past the post system. Is that also the case?
Yes, indeed. When we started, well, before the the initial part of it will be beneficial to every Sierra Leoneans. Not about party politics or about whatever other system that they want to use. Let look at the bigger picture. It's about Sierra Leone. The kind of system that we've been using, I think no Sierra Leonean will oppose to that kind of system. That is why when they went out to see how they can do some statistics, to get some information, when they interviewed people, some people frown at it. Let be justice. Let's say the things that are truth.
What was the beauty with the PRC? What was the beauty with the first past the post system? I know you were here together with the likes of Honorable Kande Kole Yumkela and other. I mean the C4C and NGs. I know you were here together with them. Well, how was the? Is that the case?
Sure, I was.
You've been following the debate so far with regards to the constitutional amendments. A lot of talk is around the utilization of the PR system or the force past ecosystem and what have you. What do you think is best for the country at this moment?
Well, a lot of people have diverse opinion based on which side of the land. They are looking at it. I believe the 1991 Constitution is almost something like it's over 35 years old, and everyone will agree with me that it's due for.
Do you consider yourself a disadvantage of the proportional representation system?
Well, I don't want to look at it that way. I'm not in any way disadvantaged.
So you're kicked out by that system?
Well, I wasn't kicked out. Okay, in the last election,
Declare to say you were voted out by that
I'm
system.
coming. In the last elections, I contested as an independent candidate. Okay, and I did not get the quota. Right. All I'm saying, utilization of every vote. We believe that if the quota system is very high, if the quota is very high, it will be very, very difficult for smaller parties to have a seat. Okay? So, if at all, system, no, is a system that places country under one block, right? By that, every political party, whatever, votes every political party got, that vote to be counted will form part of the decision of the number of staff in parliament. So to me, there are good and bad aspects of it. But on the whole, one thing I want to communicate out to our people out there is that Sierra Leone, we are just a small country, okay? And at this time, we don't need things that will come with tension. I know there is also this much talked about section the section 41 that talks by reducing.
One will say their democracy is way too mature than what obtains in Salem. But nonetheless, we're wishing you all the best. But I wanted to ask, are you on contesting for the seat?
Well, I'm a politician. Everything's possible.
Um, Voices from erstwhile members of parliament who served in this house before now, and they've lent their views as to what's happening. But nonetheless, we're turning the mic to a member from the civil society wing. They are very important in the process. Mind you, the constitutional amendment makes provision for them. The fact is, the special select committee, they seem extremely important in that regards. But nonetheless, we're having a representative from CGG, Campaign for Good Governance. You can briefly tell us your name and who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Sakendema. I work for Campaign for Good Governance.
Sakenema, you've been following the process thus far. I know Campaign for Good Governance, they've had their position papers to the process itself and what have you. But, sir, what seems extremely important with regarding the process that is ongoing in Parliament?
Well, I think what is most important here is that there's the inclusivity of the process. interest. As you can see from the gallery, everybody is here, and even the political party, the executives of the two main political parties are as well here. You have the international community and civil society. This shows the interest, the public interest in what is ongoing currently in Parliament. And this is important because we're talking about the ground norm. We're talking about the supreme document of the land, which is the Constitution. And we have invested so much time, energy, effort in getting it right. You know, it's been almost over 25, going to 30 years now since we had an 1921 constitution. And the truth is that the constitution is outdated. I would say to some extent because of some of the discriminating clauses that are there. So we see this as an opportunity to see how we could have a constitution that reflects the current reality. And hence the reason why today you hear of having that a request to participate in the governance of this country from the parliamentary angle. You see debate around women's participation, which is key to us as an organization campaign for good governance. Because if you look at the Truth and Reconciliation, well, I would say with the high level of illiteracy, it's not as rich in terms of public understanding some of these processes. So the responsibility is on all of us, including the media, to see how best at least we can get this message to the least village, to the least community, and residents across the country to really understand what the whole process is all about. That is why the media has to create the platform for civil society organizations to use their platform and reach out the public, and they have the responsibility to see how best at least they could as well go into their to the communities, educate the people so that they understand what the PR is all about and what the first past the post is all about. Because I will tell you that even those we we presume to understand do not fully understand the PR concept and do not fully
of Parliament as to what's happening here this morning. But nonetheless, Tony, so I'll hand over to you at this moment. And allow you to move with the rest of
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you, Samuel. been an amazing one. Well, viewers, again, just like you said, we're still in the well of Parliament, getting the views of honourable members and getting the views also of civil society, activists, and the ordinary man. We're here this morning with Honorable Musa Fofana, a member from the ruling bench, with whom we want to speak a little about what's going on and the updates in the well of Parliament. Good morning and good afternoon and welcome. Good afternoon. Honorable, it's been more than 30 minutes since the speaker went out. What's your take about the time so far?
Well, I think this is normally parliamentary manner or parliamentary way of doing things. The speaker have all the right to, as a party, discussion after discussion. We have seen and learned that the PRC system is always like a unified system, a system that will see the SLPP MPs coming from the north.
For you personally, what do you
For now, honestly, I prefer the PR system. I am convinced with the PR system for national cohesion because there is this issue of APC being in the northern party and SLPP being a southeastern party. So the only connectivity we will have is the PR system. Why we want to see SLPP MP
People in the well of parliament. Here with me, I have a citizen, not not a member of any of the political party, but citizen to give his view as to the process going. Good morning. Morning.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Oh,
How are you?
yes. It's the afternoon. I was just caught up with the fact that parliamentary sitting normally takes place in the morning.
Yeah,
But like I
absolutely.
said, it's running over to the afternoon. Again, your take on the entire process.
First of all, my name is Alhaji Abdullah. I'm entirely. I'm going to speak in Creole. You know why? For example, the PIS system don't disenfranchise Cambia districts. What we call Cambia district, no member of parliament, we na Chonkolimba. The old saying get two member of parliament. Na na Mambolo. Sunandi Dongi calls for let people suffer. Do not get a member of parliament. So for we be against this PIS.
That of the seats. So they will have to lobby. Mostly a few moments ago was speaking to some Power Chief members of Parliament, everybody is engaging. The PCA MPs are engaging, they are dialoguing with themselves. They are lobbying, and we'll see also again the ruling bench. They are on engagement with the speaker. The opposition bench, they are on engagement with the time has been crucial in this case. Now it has been more than an hour, and the discussion in the speakers' conference to come to an end. Well, many people are keeping their eyes and their ears on the ground, their eyes up and their ears on the ground to see what will come out of that. Like I that has to do with citizenship. For those that have not yet come before the House, because this one is mainly centered around politics, elections and electoral matters. And so in the House this morning, it is filled, and those some leaders have gone outside and some have come inside but literally right now the benches, the seats are a little empty because some MPs have gone out. Waiting for the speaker to call them back again to order. So again, as we are saying, Good morning. Good
Yeah, good afternoon.
Want to tell us your name and who you are?
Yes, I am Mohammed Pope Kamara, Deputy National Publicity Secretary, APC.
Mohammed Pope, you've been following the deliberation in the well of Parliament. From the last session till now, and the House is being stood down. For over an hour. As are you concerned that
Yeah, and we are worried because we are looking forward to making our position as a party very clear that we stand with the intentions of the people, with the cry of the people, and that is exactly why we are here. We are here today to ensure we motivate, we inspire, and ensure we support our parliamentarians in standing and what the people have sent them to say, i.e., we want one, the first past the post, which is people-centered representation, and as a party, we stand